if you could join us now with that. If you just want to watch the meeting, just carry on watching on Facebook.
I think the committee should all have had invites now, Russell, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they should have done. Yeah, sorry about this.
Let's just check your inbox.
Yeah. I think in the meantime we may as well start the meeting. I haven't received any apologies for absence from anybody.
I did get something from Acorn, but Acorn don't really use the village hall anyway. So, yeah. But I did get apologies from Acorn, so I'll record them.
Okay. The minutes of the last meeting. Hopefully, everybody's had a look at the minutes of the last meeting. The people that were at the last meeting. Does anybody have any queries or anything that's wrong in the minutes? I take that as a no then. So I would like to propose that we accept the minutes. Do I have a second then? Thanks, Dave Haynes.
Yeah. Can you go back to 2, Russell?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Declarations of it. Does anybody have any declarations of interest in anything that's on the agenda? Okay. Right. Matters arising from the minutes. The only thing that is arising from it is that the lofts have now been floored and the loft ladders put in. But of course, now that this preschool is not using the hall anymore, and is no more, all the stuff that was in the loft is now using their storeroom. So got two nice big lofts empty at the moment.
Russell, can I just check with the boarding that was done? Was there insulation put underneath?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, the reason why the boarding was done high was so that air could get to the insulation, because otherwise, if there's no air, it gets condensation and damp. Okay. So there was actually insulation there already. So it's that insulation plus a bit more. Okay, reports 4.1, reports and file notices. The damage claim against the hirers who damaged the floor of the village hall last May is going to court at Milton Keynes County Court on the 15th of October. We've sent off witness statements or statements of truth, and we've received statements back from the defendant, who totally thinks we're making things up and says that she left it in a beautiful, pristine state, which unfortunately I don't think is true somehow. Also 4.2, to receive updates from village groups on their intentions to restart using the hall. At the moment, we have bookings for a children's drama class. There's one other one, isn't there? I think so.
Yoga.
Yeah. Oh, yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah. Pilates.
Yeah.
Pilates.
No, Pilates have decided it's too early yet. I think also bearing in mind the current situation with COVID, I think probably the two ones that have booked will probably reconsider as well. I sent out forms to all user groups. They all came back with details of when they plan to restart, and nobody is planning to restart before the new year.
Russell,
really?
you're saying that yoga and the children's dance class have started or are going to
No,
start?
they're about to start.
Maybe.
And is it Pilates?
Yes, Sarah.
And are Pilates not starting until next year?
Not till next year. Maybe sometime around Christmas. She's not really sure yet.
Russell, you
Yeah.
saw the email from the school asking if they can use the hall again?
And I haven't, no.
Oh, so Marion's just basically saying, is it okay for them to use the hall again as they normally do their normal bookings?
Yeah.
So I've said yes.
Yeah.
And they've asked about any extra cleaning schedules, but I said I would ask at the meeting.
Right. What we have just decided at the last meeting was that before a booking, the hall would be sanitized by Stacey. There is a problem with that. For the school, it's okay, but on a Friday, if there are more than one booking on a day, it is virtually impossible to re-sanitize it. At the moment, there is only one booking per any day. So
did we not say, Russell, that we made the condition that the hall would be sanitised before?
They have to, yes, as well as sanitising the hall, each booking has to sanitise what they're going to be using before and afterwards.
Yeah,
so,
and afterwards.
Yeah.
So for the school, if they have their normal afternoon booking slot,
Yes.
somebody from the school, after they've used it, will need to sanitize it.
Everything that's been touched, and as they use the whole hall, I think for gym, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anything that's touched, like lights and light switches and blinds and doorknobs and everything.
Right. And just to clarify, all of this information is in the extra COVID instructions on the booking form.
On the booking form, yes.
So if I explain to the school then that they can use it, but they need to clean it as per the instructions on the booking hall after they've used it.
We will make sure the hall is clean beforehand. However, it depends when Stacey can do it. It may not be immediately before the booking.
No.
So they'll have to make sure that they clean it as well, sanitize it.
Right. So I will tell her she's welcome to use the hall on her normal slots.
Yes.
But someone from the school will need to sanitize it after they've used it as per the instructions on the website.
Yes. On the booking form.
On the booking form, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell them that.
Yeah.
And I take it yoga and children's dance class are completely aware of that as well.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Russell, are we saying one booking per day only, whilst the?
No, we're not having. We're having at the moment the bookings that have been made are the only bookings on those days.
Okay.
The problem is that it costs us £12.50 to sanitize it, and if we're only getting £5 for a booking or something like that, it's not going to help the finances very much, is it? Okay. Has anybody else got any other questions that they want to ask about that situation? The next item, 5.1, is to nominate a new voting member on the Village Hall Committee to replace preschool. The constitution is that there should be three parish councillors and three voting members of user groups. That they were the Bowls Club, the preschool, and the youth club, as they were the biggest users. Now that preschool have gone, the third biggest user is the WI, but nobody from the WI.
I don't think they are, Russell.
Oh, who would it be then?
School?
Hold on. Let me see.
Maybe the school, not it.
Bowls.
Youth club.
Funnily enough, it is the school or children's dance classes.
Right.
WI Welldown, they only use it 2 times a month.
Right. Okay. They're it should be user groups, not users. I think, isn't it, the constitution?
Yeah, user group.
Yeah. So neither of those is a user group, I don't think. So the choice is the WI. Nobody in the WI is able to use computers very well, so they certainly couldn't come to it.
Actually, Russell, can I just make the point that given the mess up in kind of inviting people to join the meeting, I really think there's a couple of items on this agenda that should be deferred. This one being one of them, and the other one being when we're discussing the charges for next year.
Right. Okay. So we'll have to have another meeting fairly quickly then.
Yeah, I think so, because I don't think it'd be. I mean, it certainly doesn't sound right to actually for us to elect a new voting member when none of the groups are actually in here. They'll probably say, "Well, I don't want to be."
Right. Okay.
Which town of WI could probably build a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel that absence implies acceptance.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, Phil, yes, but not this time.
That's the only reason why we're actually on board.
I must admit, I do think that if you're holding like a once a week dance class, it's a big ask to get involved in the committee. That's my opinion, anyway.
Oh yeah, but that I think that's the point I'm making, Sarah. I think somebody ought to really make a bid to be on there rather than for it to be foisted on them.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I know again they're being foisted, but the school are a big user and they're local, so they have a vested interest in the hall.
They seem to me to be the logical candidate, but again, I think we ought to ask them first.
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay. The next item is to find a replacement for Sarah. Just want to say in person, Sarah. I know I've said it by email, but just want to thank you for all the hard work that you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
I know the parish council also said that at their parish council meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
unless you change your mind, Sarah.
You've got an easy run in this year.
Yeah, it's easy running, Sarah. It's nothing to do.
But you know what it is? Sometimes when you haven't got very much to do, it's actually harder to get your head round it and get all your numbers in your head. Whereas if you've got everyone using the hall every week and every weekend, it's there at the front of your mind. But thank you very much, everyone. But it is, I say, thank you very much for your support. But as you know, I've got 3 grandchildren locally and four grandchildren, which I'm all going to be looking after, and possibly another one that might be on its way towards the end of the year. And I'm just finding it quite a lot with all the children and doing all of the bookings as well. Thank you.
Sounds like a new user group to me.
Yes, yeah.
Preschool, Phil, preschool.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
I think you've done your bit, Sarah.
What I was hoping to do tonight was for somebody to say, "Oh yeah, I know somebody that wants to do it," but of course, nobody here does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it out on Facebook
Good idea.
to see if anybody comes forward. Otherwise, we're going to have to dragoon somebody in to doing it. And I know John Keane doesn't have very much to do. So.
Silence does not mean agreement.
Yeah. The other matter as well is the renovation and improvement of the village hall garden, which we at the June meeting we did decide to set up a committee to do that. But now is the time actually, if we want to make it look nice for the spring, now is the time to get to do it. Ideally, it should be somebody from every user group helping, but I think, again, unless anybody else has got any other great ideas, I think I'm going to have to put that on Facebook as well and try and get some interest from the village. Sarah.
Are the parish council completely discounting having it done professionally and paying for it?
The parish
Question.
council. I don't know.
Question.
I think for the size of the garden, that just seems a bit ridiculous paying someone to do it, but I might be wrong.
Sarah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I do believe, like you say, that the garden is becoming quite atrocious, and it is an asset. I mean, one day when we're all back to some sort of normality, it is an asset to have that garden, but it does need regular maintenance of the grass being cut and, you know, plants being put in and taken out and such like. Now, I haven't actually put this to the Open Gardens Committee, but we do have some money in the kitty. And personally, you know, I think it would be a nice gesture to put this towards having the garden renovated, you know, professionally. And although you're all going to shout me down in flames, I think having some good quality artificial grass would actually save an awful lot of problems with someone going twice a week through the summer to mow it, and would be much easier to maintain and make it look attractive.
Okay.
Up to
Sounds like an idea to me.
It sounds like an idea to me as well, in supporting Sarah, but equally it could be concreted with tables and chairs, and an area. I noticed on Friday night we have a food offer at the village hall. If that was to expand early next year, it'd be a lovely eating area in the evening, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Just
yeah, I think
there's
that's
hundreds of thoughts on it.
That's actually almost a better idea than mine. I think I thought about artificial grass when the preschool was still there, but you're absolutely right. If it was done professionally, leveled up and done professionally with slabs and made that into a sort of a proper patio area so it was level, I think that would be maintenance free relatively. We could have tubs and we could have you know, round the edge. It could be much
Tubs.
But again, I mean, I'm very happy to present that to the Open Gardens to see whether they would consider using the money to have that done professionally.
I mean, I think the idea of artificial grass is a possibility. The one thing I'm just a little bit concerned about with a patio type finish is that if we have got the school coming in regularly, and if we are looking at children or children's groups using the hall in the mornings, I mean, we've got to talk about, you know, what will happen with preschool, whether we'll be able to get another one or whatever. Whether a patio is basically just a bit too rough for tiny knees. Now, I've no idea whether that's the case or whether, you know, schools you know, are happy, or preschool groups are happy for children to play on patios, or whether they need something softer these days. There are finishes which are soft finish, but and of course with artificial grass you still could put tables and chairs out on it. It would look, you know, just as good. So I
think that's a fair point.
I prefer something slightly softer because it just widens the appeal of it, rather than going completely hard, which I do agree would be a lot lower maintenance. Oh, the dog agrees with me.
I think that's a fair point, and I was considering it without the use of the school, but looking forward, the artificial grass, a nice soft one. I mean, you can spray it clean even without. That's good.
Yeah, the actual patio area at the moment is quite large.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, now that everything's been taken off it. So
no, I'm comfortable with that.
My own personal view is that I would rather have a lawn and a patio as opposed to all concrete.
Right. So shall I put that as a proposition to the Open Gardens?
Yeah.
And see if I can persuade them to part with the money.
Yeah.
Did we want to come up with a kind of outline design and a rough cost before you do that, Sarah? I mean, we're putting an unknown cost to them. They might not be as kind
Well,
of
I
accommodating.
would ask someone to come along and give me a costing. If we did this, I mean, it wouldn't be that cheap because obviously the good quality companies would have to come in, the area would have to be lifted and leveled, and then a proper substrate put in, and before the grass. I mean, it would have to be done with professionals. And I did actually have somebody come and give me a rough quote, and it was in the region of, I think, about 3,000 for the whole lot to be done properly. Would there be any opportunity for the parish council to sort of offer like for like, maybe, financially?
Well, we could certainly put it to the parish council if you want to do that. I mean, we can't decide that outside of a parish council meeting, but we could certainly put it on the agenda for the next meeting. But I mean, I would be personally quite happy for Open Gardens to come along with a proposal, both for design. I mean, almost by the name of it, you ought to be better gardeners than the rest of us. So, you know, to come up with a design and a cost, and what, you know, you're prepared to contribute, and what you would like, if necessary, the parish council to contribute if it's too much. And then we could consider that and you know, go for it or not.
I think the question you could ask, Sarah, is, as Phil rightly said, we can't actually make a decision there, but I think you could ask the village hall councillors whether they'd be prepared to support that model.
Okay, well, I'll take it forward. I'll try and get some more specific quotes and see if I can persuade the Open Gardens Council committee.
In the meantime, I'll get Richard to mow the grass now. We were keeping it long so that the seeds would be sown, but the meadow seeds, because a lot of it's meadow grass, but I think we'll just mow it now and keep it short.
And cut down all the brambles.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have anything else to say about that? Or shall we move on to the financial situation and the effect on the parish council budget for next year? As you can no doubt see, there is very little income coming in.
I did send a spreadsheet out earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, as Phil rightly said, I only addressed income and effect on income. I also put in the amount shortfall that preschool going would cause, because as the agenda item goes, the follow-on to this is how does it affect next year's budget? Now, on the spreadsheet, I kind of averaged out what the regular groups would pay, what private hire would pay, and how much we would lost. I think it would be more significant had we not had the £10,000 grant.
Yeah, would you like me to share this, Russell?
Yes, please. Again, this is hypothetical though, Steve, isn't it? Because we don't know.
It is hypothetical.
We don't actually know whether we're going to get any more income in, or when income is going to start coming in again.
No, it's making an assumption that income will start from the start of the first quarter 2021, but that might not be right. No. I mean, we might not get any income at all this financial year.
On the other hand, there is a saving in costs as well.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be cleaned as often as it did previously, and also the electricity bill is going to be less.
Actually, the resources I'd overlooked cleaning, but the actual utilities are costing about £3,000 a year. Now, I haven't got an exact figure because we haven't taken a meter reading for a while, but I would expect that we wouldn't even be using a quarter of what we'd normally be using, would we?
I don't think so. The hot water is on, but the heating isn't. So
right.
Yeah.
So,
and
So
also
you-
the lights. The lights are not obviously not used as much now in the evenings. And they won't be used anywhere near as much as they would have been in a normal year. Now that the nights are drawing in. Because
Can I just clarify a point, Steve? On the sheet that Fuller's put up, it looks like the total deficit is £10,062, and the the actual income of the £10,000 grant. Does one negate the other, or am I misreading that?
well, if you look at how much worse off the parish council is going to be at the end of the year with the grant, they won't be worse off. But £5,000 of this is down to preschool not coming in anyway. So you can say that really COVID has cost us £5,000 in terms of the remaining users, including private hire not being available.
Can I just check? Are preschool paying their dues up to the end of March or whenever it was, Steve?
Preschool say they would, Phil, but I've not heard anything from them. I think it was an action from the last parish council meeting that I chased them, and because they had committed to do so, to pay the full amount, because we gave them a discount on their payments, but they agreed to actually pay that back. So there is money to come back in from preschool, yes, but that of course is from last year, from last financial year.
So looking at the sheet, that's pretty much worst case scenario.
Well,
not taking into.
It's
well,
not.
no, I don't think it is a worst case scenario.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
If you look at the first column of figures, John, that is what we would be down if we didn't have any income at all this financial year.
Right.
So if you like take preschool out of it, we'd be £6,750 worse off.
Yes.
But like has rightly been said, utilities would be about a third. So utilities would be £2,000 less than normal, and I can't remember. I didn't actually take note of what we pay Stacey.
Thank heavens we've got this grant then.
Yeah. So the grant makes it more palatable for this year, and you would arguably next, but the parish council will have to decide that.
This is fiscal year, is it, that you're showing, Steve, rather than calendar?
Yes, it is, Phil. So year end, it's year commencing April the 1st.
Yeah, because basically we had absolutely no income at all until fairly recently.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, which started prior to the start of this financial year.
Okay.
Anyway, that I think when we come to consider the budget for next year, and this is just stuff we need to take into account. Like I say, the grant has made it more palatable, and because otherwise the countermeasure might have been to raise the precept, had to have been to raise the precept, but that's again for the parish council to decide.
Or as they say, something must be done. We don't know what. Allied to this is also the possibility of considering the village hall hire charges. I think personally that they are going to have to go up. The discounted rate that regular user groups get is, I think it's about, I can't remember how much it is, Sarah.
£5.50 an hour.
Yeah, I mean, considering it costs £12.50 to sanitize before a meeting, we're not going to get any revenue coming in unless it's 3 hours, are we?
Well, you could just put in a temporary COVID charge of £12.50 per session, and just say, that's because The rest, the other income is meant to cover the running costs of the hall,
Yeah,
which still will exist when they're in use. It's the electricity and the heating and so on. And you just say, well, we need £12.50 to cover the cleansing cost. If that's what is that the cost Stacey charged?
that's the cost of 1 hour's cleaning.
Yeah.
Again, I would be very, very nervous for the village hall committee to make a decision on this without the users
This is
groups.
what we'll have to do at the next third meeting.
Yeah, I think really I'd suggest that we get through as much business as we can, but anything that is going to affect the users groups, we actually defer to another meeting soon.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything else to say about that? No. Okay. Any other business that anybody wants to raise? Nope. So the date for the next meeting, next Monday is out because we have a meeting of the Sports Ground Committee at.
No, sorry, Russell, I was going to put something round on that. The Sports Ground Committee are having problems actually getting information out of their bank. How familiar does that sound? And they're unable to present their accounts. And being as the main reason for the Sports Ground Committee meeting is to review the accounts and agree the operation fee for next year, it really isn't worth holding the meeting until they can do that.
All right. So should we make it then 7 o'clock? As opposed to
7 o'clock
next Monday, the 28th.
Okay.
Right, 7 o'clock next Monday.
Okay,
That's definite.
Yeah.
as definite as tonight.
Right.
7 o'clock, Village Hall meeting, 28th of October.
September, John.
Just checking. I didn't want there to be any more muck-ups, I just checking. Yes.
And on that agenda, Russell, will just be reports from group.
Yeah.
Charges, fire charges.
Yeah, it'll be 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 6.1, and
5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 6.1,
and 6.2.
6.2.
Yeah. You're going to miss all this, Sarah, aren't you?
You can still watch it on YouTube and Facebook, Sarah. You don't need to miss out altogether.
It can show the grandchildren.
Brilliant.
That'll get them to sleep.
We've got 13 people watching us.
Have we?
Yeah.
Gosh.
No one said anything though. There's no comments.
No.
Is that including your grandchildren though?
I hope they're in bed.
Yeah.
What, you've done your own telly?
Well, Coronation Street and EastEnders are obviously not very good episodes today.
As every other day, I'd suggest.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll set this up and I'll send the meeting details over to you, Steve and Russell,
Yeah.
for next week.
We'll get it right this
We'll
time.
try and get it right next time.
Russell, I'm going to pop round with a check. Are you
I'm still here. Yeah.
in the next 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm not going to bed.
So I'll go on my way to Tesco's, even though it's not on my way to Tesco's.
Okay.
See if they got any Lethe Brune in, Steve.
Oh,
Shall I switch the YouTube feed off at this point?
Yeah,
as the conversation is moving.
I'll switch